Congratulations, Justina, on being recognized as a trailblazer in corporate social responsibility. Justina leads the corporate social responsibility function here at IBM and has such a passion for solving grand challenges in society and especially in education. Justina really epitomizes the passion that IBMers have to make the world better. She's helping IBM skill 30 million people worldwide by 2030. It's an ambitious goal, but I know Justina has the drive to get it done. She's changing the definition of CSR. It's going from something that is confined to a small area of the company to an ethic of good tech that pervades all aspects of IBM. Justina, congratulations again on this great recognition.
I've been fortunate enough to work with Justina for over 5 years, working on programs serving people across America. She has a tremendous ability to bring people together, find new and creative ways to stretch resources, to deepen impact, and to ensure that everyone has the most benefit possible from the programs in her portfolio. Congratulations on this well-deserved award.
Congratulations, Justina. Really well-deserved award. With your work in education, you are truly creating an impact and giving underrepresented communities across the world more opportunities for a better future. It's truly an honor to be working with you. Again, congratulations.
Congrats, Justina. My name is Philip Uthmana, and I worked for Justina for almost a decade. And in all the conversations I remember, we were always focused on impacting underserved and vulnerable populations with the solutions we created. And that's always been Justina's North Star. And the energy she has around that is infectious and energizes all of us to do better work. So congratulations again.
Hi, I'm Barry Malkin, the CEO of Carnegie Learning. I want to congratulate Justina on this amazing and well-deserved achievement. I first met Justina a few years back at South by Southwest, where she was a panelist discussing diversity in STEM education. I was so inspired by her words and her passion that I reached out to her after the conference to introduce myself and establish a relationship. Fast forward 3 years later, and Justina is a member of our board of directors, where she brings that passion for education and diversity to every meeting and every conversation we have. Congratulations, Justina.
Justina, you've dedicated much of your career to supporting public sector causes, particularly those that improve opportunities for education, health, and wellness. You are fearless in the face of a complex challenge, and you've crafted some pretty comprehensive solutions along the way.
Justina Nixon Saintil, as IBM's Vice President and Global Head of Corporate Social Responsibility, CSR, drives strategic, socially responsible investments that enable the company's technology and talent to address some of society's biggest challenges worldwide. The CSR program she leads enable IBM and its employees to transform their altruism into reality. An Aspen First Mover Fellow and mechanical engineer, Justina leverages multi-sector partnerships to help create innovative schools and a more inclusive workforce. The Institute of Caribbean Studies takes much pleasure in bestowing upon this dynamic fellow Dominican its distinguished Trailblazer Award.
Thank you so much, Linton, and just thank you to everyone for such a great honor. I am in such awe of my fellow honorees, and I'm very proud to be in such good company. Tonight, I'm grateful to be surrounded by supportive colleagues, friends, and family. If you had asked the shy 8-year-old version of me entering the United States from a small fishing village in Dominica about my future career, I wouldn't have had a clue. But I was a curious child, and that curiosity led me to want to learn more about how things worked, eventually leading to a mechanical engineering degree. Being an engineer opened so many doors and instilled in me drive and passion to solve the biggest challenges in the world. Throughout my career, whether I was designing containers to keep nuclear waste from seeping into a community water supply, or creating initiatives that provided access and technology to disadvantaged youth to eliminate the digital divide, or the work that I do today at IBM, providing skills that offer an opportunity at a meaningful job for diverse, under-resourced communities. I always focused on solutions that created the greatest impact. For the young people listening tonight, I would like to share two things that I've learned along my journey. First, I've never shied away from a challenge. I'm not afraid of failure, and many of my successes are because I've learned from failure and persevered and endured through difficulty. Second, it took an ecosystem of friends, mentors, colleagues, and family for me to get to where I am today. There's no way I would have been able to do this alone, and I'm never afraid to ask for guidance and help when I need it. I share this recognition and my thanks with my ecosystem, the people who have supported me along the way. A very special thank you to my mother, Nathy Nixon, my sister, Rowena, my brothers, Hilroy, Lincoln, and Richie, my husband, Willis, and my three children, Justin, Gabriel, and Ariana, who make me so very proud every single day. And thank you to Dr. Claire Nelson and the Institute of Caribbean Studies for performing such vital work and for reminding us how our background, work ethic, and unique culture has helped shape who we are and how we can make contributions that really make a difference. Thank you so much for this honor.
It is such a pleasure to be having this conversation with you, Justina, as we recognize your award for the Caribbean American Heritage Awards this year, the Trailblazer Award. So excited to get to meet you and get to know a little bit more about your story and your experience here as a Caribbean American. So
Thank you
as we
for
get,
having me.
of course. So as we get started, can you tell me a little bit about your Caribbean heritage? Where are you from or born? Let us know.
So I'm from Calabasas, Dominica, a very small island in the Lesser Antilles. I came to the United States right before my 9th birthday and settled in the Bronx, in New York. But I spent the first, almost 9 years in Calabasas, really enjoying the beach and the food. And that, of course, has continued to this day.
You have been recognized for your role in corporate social responsibility. Can you tell us a little bit about what got you started in corporate social responsibility?
Yeah, so I'm actually a mechanical engineer. I graduated with a degree in mechanical engineering. So I was always focused on how do you create products and solutions that solve some of the biggest challenges in society. And throughout my career, I moved from engineering to product development to marketing, and eventually in a leadership role in corporate social responsibility. So the work that I do at IBM is really around how do we leverage our technology, our talent, and our financial resources to have a positive impact in society and at scale. IBM is a global company. So when we launch programs, when we think about who we can impact, we're looking at, over 100 countries around the world, that we work with. So it's really a focus on looking at the biggest societal challenges, sustainability, when we think about climate justice, when we look at education and skills and making sure no one is being left behind. Our focus is in reducing income inequality. Those are the two main areas that I focus our efforts on.
I know you just described the work that IBM is doing. Why is CSR important to you? And how have you seen it evolve over the years?
Yeah, so CSR is extremely important to me. This is an area that I'm passionate about, and it's an area that I really love doing, right? I've always been focused on how do we make sure we solve these big challenges in society. But these are things that individuals and governments can't do alone. Corporations, businesses also have to step up and invest in their communities as well. It's important for them to create a diverse pipeline of talented individuals who can be successful, right, in society, in corporations, it's important to build our communities and make sure no one is being left behind, especially when you think about technology, innovation, and automation. But it's also a way to retain and attract employees. Employees want to work for companies that are doing good in society. That's important to them, and it's becoming more and more important. So CSR has evolved over time from how do we, just provide, support to the community at a very peripheral level, to how do we make deep systemic change? How do we make sure we're moving the needle? How do we look at untapped talent? How do we look at diversity? How do we solve some of these biggest challenges? And how do we use our own technology and our resources in order to do that? So I'm really proud of the work that IBM is doing. And I think it's important to see that, businesses, again, have to come together along with governments to be able to solve these challenges.
Now, of course, I want to figure out and try to connect your Caribbean heritage and experience to this work that you're doing to solve some of the deepest systemic challenges that we have in society. How is it connected?
Yeah, so I mean, as any typical, child of Caribbean parents, education has always been a priority in my family. I'm the youngest of 5. And it wasn't a question of whether I would go to college, right? That was not something. It was, where would you go? What would you major in? And I can tell you, it was always, are you going to be a doctor or an educator, or an engineer? And I grew up in a family where my older brother was studying computer science. My sister had gone to college, and she said, engineers on campus are doing some amazing things here. You excel in math. You're always curious about how things work. Why don't you look into engineering as a place that you could major in? And I said, that sounds great to me, so I applied. I was accepted to the School of Engineering at the University of Buffalo in New York. I excelled at math. I did well in school, and it really opened doors for me. So I've always been passionate about this. And I've also been passionate about how do we get young women, how do we get Black and Brown communities into these fields? So I've always mentored. I've always made sure that I'm giving back to the community. And that's extremely important to me as well. So, a huge focus on STEM. I think technology is the future. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, even if you're not necessarily moving into a tech industry, any industry is going to require tech skills and digital skills. So it's very important for people to focus on those paths when they think about their education.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And, as you talked about the, growing up in a family with many, 5 siblings, and, you being very focused on, or parents being very focused on being a doctor, engineering, so many connections there. Even though we're from different islands, there are definitely connections across our Caribbean parents and how we are parented. And I'm curious about, how much of the pieces related to family and community, do you see in your work presently at IBM and in corporate social responsibility?
Yeah, so there are lots of connections, right? And I always tell young people, it's not just about the hard work, it's all about the networking, the connections, the mentors, the coaches, the cheerleaders in your life. So I can tell you that this is a place that I didn't get here alone. Right. I didn't get here alone, whether it was my sister who said this was the best thing and, for you to do based on what you like and what you enjoy and what you excel in, to all of the friends and colleagues that have championed me along the way. I think it's really important for us to see that it's I know we always say a village, but really coming from Dominica, where there are a number of small villages, it really does take a village, to be successful in fields like this and to be successful at companies like IBM. I would say one of the things that I am doing, and part of a big focus of mine through my work, right, in corporate social responsibility, is how do I bring Black and Brown communities along? Right. So, for example, I grew up in the Bronx, and the Bronx in New York, there's a huge, Caribbean population. And as it is across many states and many cities in the US, how do we make sure they're getting the right skills, to be successful in tech jobs, for example? How do we make sure we're creating education programs that meet them where they are? So that's a way that I'm connecting the work that I do at IBM with, the Caribbean population in the US, and of course abroad as well.
You've had a phenomenal career working at Verizon and IBM and other organizations. What would you say you are most proud of in your career?
Yeah, so I'm really proud about the impact I've had in society. At Verizon, I created a number of programs that focused on eliminating the digital divide and working with students in low-income areas, very disadvantaged youth, and making sure that they had technology and access, at home and at school, and making sure their teachers had the training they needed to provide the right types of supports for them, right, to use technology. So I'm really proud of the results of that. And then at IBM, we are reskilling, millions of people. We actually just made a commitment that we are going to skill 30 million people by 2030. Huge commitment by the company. I'm really excited about leading this effort with my colleagues across the business. And when you look at the impact of the people that we're reaching, you're looking at students who would have never thought that they could be successful in computer design, or computer programming. And, I had a student that I met with, and she was homeless. Her family was living in a homeless shelter. And she became part of one of our programs, P-TECH. And, she was able to get an internship at IBM. This is the kind of thing that gets me excited about the work that we do and really passionate about this. So being able to see that I have this type of impact, right, with young people, with adults as well, people who really need this support, that's what gets me excited. That's what gets me, out of bed every morning, and just working with an amazing team to make that happen.
That's huge. I mean, it sounds like the legacy that type of investment in society is going to make is really going to be transformative, not only for IBM, but for the world. So as you think about, you're getting this award and you get this email from from the Institute for Caribbean Studies, what goes through your mind when you find out that there even is this Caribbean Heritage Award and that you are being recognized by the American Caribbean community?
I have to be honest. When I first received the email, I didn't think it was real. First of all, I was in disbelief. I saw the email, and then I saw the people who received this award before me, and who have been honored, by the organization. And I said, oh, wow, I just was in shock, to be honest. And then I became extremely honored. And then I shared it with my family, and they were absolutely thrilled, absolutely thrilled. So I'm really excited to receive this honor. This is huge for me, huge for someone who, is an immigrant to the United States, who came from Dominica, who was able to, have this type of success here. And it's a big honor for me and my family. So I'm really, really excited to receive the award.
Yeah. Every year I've been doing these interviews for a number of years on behalf of Carib Nation and ICS, and there's usually someone involved in STEM whose parents didn't necessarily think that they would be in tech or engineering, but more so medicine or lawyers. So it's so interesting and, phenomenal to hear about the impact that you are having beyond just your role as an engineer, but more so how you've taken that and your goal of improving society through engineering to improve society through the investments at IBM. But what do you see as your role in advancing the Caribbean diaspora community?
Yeah, so there are things that I just, do as just, part of, being from the Caribbean. I provide donations to an organization called DASHI every year. It's the Dominican American Scholarship and Culture, organization. So, I donate to their cause, and they provide scholarships, they provide books, they provide a lot of supports from young people from Dominica. I give back by mentoring and coaching, family members, friends as well, making sure that where I can, I make the connections for them, right? To make sure that, they can be successful, they have job opportunities, they understand, what they need to do in college and so forth. So I always make those connections to the people that I know in my circle. But I also think giving back, right? Looking for the right organizations where you can give your time and financial resources is a way that you can, support Caribbeans, especially around education and scholarship.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're doing that in your day-to-day as well, as you are, giving back through the support and investments of your organization as well. So it's like double fold, triple fold, always reaching out to others in the community, which is phenomenal. So as you think about yourself when you were a young person in Dominica before 9 years old, and you're dreaming of, what's my next career? Where am I going to head to? What advice do you have for young Justina, right, who's striving to or dreaming of pursuing a career in STEM, tech, or business?
Yeah, so I can tell you the very young Justina was very quiet and introverted. Very, very shy. And, as you can see, that's not really the case today. What I would tell young people is you have to work hard. It's table stakes. You have to put the time and effort to do well, whether it's in school, whether it's at your job, you have to work hard. But it shouldn't stop there, right? That's just, table stakes now. You really need to find mentors. You have to find coaches. You need to have cheerleaders who can help you and support you. You need to know when to ask for help, and you need to figure out how to network, because that's how you know what opportunities are out there. That's how you know which programs are the right ones for you. You get to understand what are the right courses to take in school. How do you prepare for a job interview? You need to make sure you have people around you, that can help you be successful in those softer skills. The tech skills, the hard skills, that's a given. You can go ahead and get a degree in engineering or computer science or any of those tech fields, STEM fields. But if you don't have those other supports, the networking, the collaboration, the creativity, the, understanding how to work with others and understand how to prepare yourself for those interviews and presentations, then you're not going to be as successful. So it's important to surround yourself with people who can help you there. And I learned that later on in life. It's not something you sometimes learn early on, but that is going to be important for young people to be successful.
Yeah, no man is an island. It does take a village, as you said earlier. And that connection with other people, the networking is so essential. Thanks for sharing that. Now, throughout this conversation, you talked a lot about what you are doing with the community, but how can the Caribbean American community elevate or support your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a platform called SkillsBuild.org, SkillsBuild.org. The community can access the platform. We have training and credentials across a number of different STEM areas. Cybersecurity is the number one topic accessed on the platform. And there are so many cybersecurity jobs that are unfilled today. And these tech jobs pay really well, right? It can help you support yourself. It can help you support your family. So I would say access the resources that IBM provides for free. And the way you can start is by going on skillsbuild.org.
Oh, awesome. So, every year, like I said, when I do these interviews, I learn about new people in our Caribbean community who I never heard of before, but who are doing such amazing, amazing work. And Justina, I am so thankful for all the work that you're doing at IBM. I have definitely learned why you got the Trailblazer Award, not only because of the work that you're doing, but because of your amazing attitude and personality. You are truly a trailblazer. Thank you so much for all of your work and for taking the time to have this conversation with us. Really, really appreciate you. Congratulations on behalf of ICSDC and Carib Nation TV.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to ICS for such a great honor. Thank you.
Right, and have a wonderful day.
All right, you too.